Howdy, and welcome back to the Dice Cast. We've got another exciting matchup with players that haven't faced off in a while.
Yeah, well, they have, but sometimes it doesn't make it to YouTube.
Right. We had a game between Justin and I, and the footage was lost.
Yeah,
so
just call lost footage.
Lost footage.
Yeah.
But tonight's, if you're seeing this, made it to the channel.
Yeah.
So we've got a matchup that we haven't played in quite a while. It was one that we got into a lot early on in 3.0. It's Stormcast versus Warclans.
Yeah.
Which was obviously with the drop of Dominion was a big matchup.
Yeah. You used to love your Stormcast, and
still
you
do.
took a break from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to love my Orcs, and I took a break from those, and now we're kind of coming full circle here to see how they're doing right now.
Right, and I think they're both in pretty healthy places. They've both found a spot in the meta, and Orruk Warclans, maybe Big Waaagh, is even on the upswing a little bit.
Let's hope so. We're going to try it out tonight. What do you got for us?
So tonight I'm running Hammers of Sigmar to get that 6-up ward near objectives. That's going to make my already durable army even more durable. This army is really built around Master of the Celestial Menagerie, which is a command trait that came out and was way too strong at release. They dialed it back to make it only work on behemoths instead of all monsters. So this army has a couple big behemoths from Stormcast. It's got Krondys and it's got a Lord-Celestant on Stardrake. The Lord-Celestant is my general. He's got the Arcane Tome, and he's got the Master of the Celestial Menagerie, like I mentioned. That's going to give -1 to wound to the two big monsters in this list. Both of them are wizards. So the Stardrake also has the Scintillating Tail, which is going to give a penalty to unbinds against their casts, which is going to make them a little bit more impactful in the casting game. I also have a Knight Incanter to lean further into that theme. For my units, I've got 2 units of Liberators, 1 unit of 2 Fulminators as kind of a hammer, and then 1 Stormstrike Chariot to do some pinning and help slow things down. And then for my real punch in this list, I've got the Everblaze Comet as a big Mortal Wound Bomb, and Ravenax Gnashing Jaws as a targeted Mortal Wound Bomb to help take things off, because I don't have a lot of melee or ranged punch in this list. Gonna have to work through things over time.
So I'm bringing Big Waaagh today. It's going to be a Corpse Ripper Vulcha as my general. He is going to have the command trait Egomaniac, which means he'll be able to pass off some wounds, and he'll have Fasten as his mount trait. I'm also bringing Gobsprakk, who knows the whole lore, so I don't really have to go into his spell. We're going to have the mandatory Wargog Prophet with the glowing tattoos, and 2 war chances. One of them I actually made a wizard with the Arcane Tome so that he can cast the Great Big Hand of Gork. Then I have 3 units of 3 Gork Gruntas, 2 units of 5 Ardboys, 1 unit of 10 Ardboys, and I'm rounding it out with a unit of 6 Bolt Boys. Gives me a little bit of range, and it works well in combination with Gobsprakk. So I'm excited to see what they can do tonight. Big Waaagh is, I think, in an okay position. It's a lot of drops, and but a lot of wounds. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to see if I can kind of ignore Nick's big tanks and if he can eliminate enough models to get objectives. So are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's have some fun.
So tonight we're playing Prize of Galay, and this is an interesting battle plan. It's got standard scoring, hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and all the standard rules from this season. But the wrinkle here is that the objectives on the board are not activated to start the game. So you can contest them, you can control them, but you can't score for them at the start of the game. And what's going to happen is that in each round, the player going second is going to activate 1 objective. They can't activate their home objective until battle round 2 or later, and then going forward, each of them is going to get activated in turn. So by round 5, they'll all be active on the table. But to start with, we'll be squabbling over a small piece of territory.
Yeah, I kind of spread out my deployment. I know Nick's concentrated to one side. I'm going to balance. I need to be a little bit spread out. Nick's got some mortal wound bombs, so it kind of presenting him multiple options on what to hit. And then I want to be in a place where I'm threatening most objectives right off the bat, so to present Nick with a challenge on what he's going to do with his first turn.
Justin has some really strong ability to buff up units of Gorgruntas and send them across the table and do a tremendous amount of damage with them. Even in early turns before those Waaagh bonuses are up, those are really kind of the biggest threat to me. So I definitely castled up and tried to present a very defensive front so that he's going to be a little bit restricted in his ability to get into things that he really wants to be able to get into. I've got some very long range abilities to do damage with the Everblaze Comet, so I can lean on those things a little bit and get after what I want to get after with them, while being as defensive as possible here with the Stormcast force. Alright, Justin, good luck.
Good luck.
I'm going to go ahead and give you first turn.
Sounds good.
Since I'm going second, I get to pick the objective and the proving ground, so I'm going to activate this objective, and I'm going to make it the proving ground.
Sounds good. Makes sense. I am going to start counting up my Waaagh points. I'm going to get automatically 3. I get 1 for having a Bone Splitter's Wizard, and then I get another 2 for having a War Chanta. Then I get D6 because my general is alive for 5, which is nice. So I'm right off the bat, I'm going to be at 8. Yeah, I'll be +1 to run right now.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the unit of 5 Ard Boys that are on the front line to hold the scoring objective right now.
Okay, for against the odds?
For against the odds. And then I am going to attempt to get 1 more Waaagh point. If I roll anything above a 1 as my heroic ability, I will get another Waaagh point. I get a 3, so I'll be at 9.
Okay. And I'm going to go for a command point with my general, the Lord-Celestant, and I'll get it.
I'm going to put 1 Violent Fury on my unit of Yellow Pigs.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use the other one to put on the unit of Yellow Pigs next to my unit of 10 Ard Boys.
Okay.
Into casting, I'm going to first attempt to cast Hand of Gork. This is going to be on 7. I'm going to get it on an 8.
And I'm out of range to unbind here.
Then I'm going to attempt to cast Mystic Shield.
From whom?
My War God.
Sure.
He's going to get it on an 8.
You got it.
He's going to put it on this unit of Gorgruntas right in front of him.
Sure.
Gobsprack's going to attempt to cast Arcane Bolt, which will get on a 9. And Gobsprakk will attempt to cast Sneaky Miasma. He's going to get it on a 7. This would give him a normal move if he wanted it right now. I'm tempted to pin Nick in potentially with a move and then another move and a charge, but I feel like Gobsprakk is not a pinning unit, so I'm going to hold off on moving him. That's going to be it for my hero phase. I'm going to go into movement. I played this pretty conservatively. For Big Waaagh, I feel like, yes, my Gorgruntas can do a lot early, but they'll do a lot more late. So rather than send them flying across the board and maybe not make a charge, I'm going to play this kind of conservatively, score the objectives, spread around the objectives, pressuring as many as I can to make Nick's already relatively thin army have to spread itself out a bit. Also, not to give him an ideal target for the comet and things of that nature. I was conservative with my command points because my army is fairly command point heavy, and I also moved Gobsprakk into a place where, because he does have a once a game triple dice unbind, I may want to use that if Nick doesn't roll well. So I'm going to score the objective and get my control 1, control more for 2, and then get my battle tactic for 4.
And then we'll have Stormcast in the bottom of round 1. We'll each tick up 1 command point. Alright, battle tactics here are going to be a little bit tricky for me. There's not a lot of options with only 1 active objective. I am going to take against all odds, and I'm going to pick this unit of Liberators right here to contest that, but that does mean that I need to eliminate the Galatian veterans off of that objective in order to manage this one. For my heroic action, I'm going to attempt to get an extra command point with Krondys. And I do on a 5.
I'm going to attempt to get an extra command point from Gobsprakk. I do on a 5.
Okay. Into the hero phase proper, a few casts to make here. The Knight Incantor is going to kick things off with Celestial Blades. Need a 5. Now I've got +1 from the Lord-Celestant, and I'm also -1 to be unbound here. So the 7 is going to turn into an 8, and you've got -1 to unbind.
And you have a total of 4.
Total of 4 casts.
I'm going to attempt to unbind with my War Manta. That is... I need what?
So you need a 9 on dice to tie it. You need a 10 on dice to beat it. Sure.
Nope.
Okay. So Celestial Blades is going to go off, and that's going to go on this unit of Fulminators. That gives them +1 to wound. Krondys is going to cast next, and he's going to cast his War Scroll spell, the Atavistic Tempest. Now, base War Scroll right now is at +3. Get an extra +1 because of the Lord-Celestant beside him. So +4 on this, casting value of 9. And going to get that with a 10. And again, -1 to be unbound.
I'm going to attempt to unbind with the War God Prophet. Nope.
Okay. And that's got a 24-inch range. That's going to go on that unit of Ardboys that's contesting the objective. And I'm going to give them -1 to save rolls.
Sounds good.
Next up, the Celestant Prime is going to cast Starfall, his lore spell. This is a spell that can prevent pylons. And with his +1, going to get this on an 11, and again, -1 to be unbound. Arcane Tome here, making him a wizard for this. And that's going to pick a point right here, which is within 3 inches of the Ardboys and the pigs. So on a 3-up, they won't be able to pile in. First up, the Ardboys. They can pile in. The pigs can pile in. So no result there. And for my last spell cast, Krondys is going to attempt to cast the Everblaze Comet. And he's at +4 here, so that's going to be a 12, and then you are -1 to unbind.
So I'm going to use the Gobsprack's once a game ability. I'm going to roll 3 dice and attempt to unbind this. Nope.
Okay. So Everblaze is coming down. So the Everblaze is going to come down right there, and this is basically like Dragon's Breath, and the range here is a very generous 10 inches. And sorry, it's on a 1, it's 1 mortal wound. On a 2 through 5, it's D3, and on a 6, it's D6. So first up, we'll do this from one end to the other. We'll do Gobsprakk first. He is going to take D3 for 1 mortal wound.
He has a 6-up mortal wound save. He'll take 1.
Okay. That unit of Gorgrunters by him are going to take D3 for 2. Ardboys by them going to take D3 for 1. They've got shield.
Yep. 6 up on the shield.
The unit of archers there, the Bolt Boys, are going to take D3 for 1.
That's the one you want.
Yep. The big unit of Ardboys is going to take D6 for 4.
I'm going to take 1 on the first shield. Both will go through the second shield. We'll save 1.
Okay. And then on the War Chanter, he's going to take D3 for 3. And then wizards within 10 inches are -1 to cast. And then we can get into movement.
we display Gobsprakk with his free point. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to re-roll that?
Nah, I'll take it.
I pushed up hard on one flank here, really moving my monsters into position to get into combat with things that I need to get into combat here on this side. My Fulminators used my Holy Command to run, and they'll be able to run and charge this turn. And then my very fast moving dragons and chariots pushed forward so that they can get into a position to start pinning things back, but also to start blowing things up on the one objective that we have active so far. So hopefully to good effect there. And then I got my 1 unit of Liberators onto that objective so that if I'm able to clear the Ardboys from that objective, I'll take it over. Into shooting, my Fulminators can't shoot because they ran this turn. The command lets them charge but does not let them also shoot. Krondys is going to shoot his Blazing Tempest attack into the unit of Bolt Boys, and this works similar to the Everblaze Comet. So the first die gives me a 2, and that means they're going to take 1 mortal wound. Then going to shoot with the Celestant Prime into that same unit. The Bolt Boys, he's at 4 attacks with the Rain of Stars. I'm going to all-out attack here. And so these are going to be on 2s and 2s. That is going to be 4 hits. And 3 6s to wound. So that is going to be 3 at -3. And they are 2 damage each. That kills 3 more. I've killed a total of 4 Bolt Boys out of the unit?
Yep.
Good, good. That is all of my shooting then. My first charge here is going to be with the Celestant Prime. And he got an 8 on dice. That's not quite going to be enough. Next charge is going to be with that unit of Fulminators. And they got a 6 on dice. I am going to spend a command point here to re-roll that. And they got a 10. That will get them in. Next up, I'm going to attempt to charge with Krondys. And he's going to get in with a 9. And then my last charge here is going to be the Stormstrike Chariot. And it's in on an 11. Wow. 11 very significant there because it does mortal wounds based on the charge number it gets. And going to put those mortal wounds into the Ardboys here. So 11 dice looking for 4s. And solid roll going to get, what's that, 5 mortal wounds there.
I got 1 shield left. That's 1. Here's another shield. And another shield. Oh, no.
Very solid. So, for my monstrous action, Krondys is going to roar at that unit of Gorgruntas. And succeeds with a 3. And then Gobsprakk is just out of range for the monstrous action. For my first activation, I'm going to activate with the Fulminators and pile it in. Sure.
I'm going to all defense Gobsprakk.
Okay. So I'm going to have a total of 10 attacks here with the Stormstrike Glaives. And because of the Celestial Blades that I put on them with the Knighted Cantor, they're going to get +1 to wound. So these are going to be 3s and 2s. So to hit, any penalties here?
No, not that.
Okay. A lot of 1s. But we got 5 hits and 5 wounds at -2.
So this would be 5 6-ups because of the all defense. Hit 1 damage.
Those are 3 damage each.
This will be 12 6-ups. Let's save 2 of those, so I'll take 10. It'll be 3 remaining.
Okay, and then the Claws and Fangs, 6 attacks there. Also 3s and 2s. 1 miss. That is going to be 3 at -2.
So it'll be 3 6-ups. Made 1 damage.
2 damage each. Total 4.
So I need to make at least 2 of these for him to survive. I did not. He will be dead.
God. Fulminators doing their thing. And then is your activation.
2 going into the foams, 1 with all his attacks. The leader will be into the foams, and the other going into Krondys.
Okay.
The one into Krondys will have 1 less attack, right?
Yep, he's got -1 attacks on his profile. And is also -1 to wound because of Master of Celestial Menagerie.
It'll be 7 attacks into the foams. These will be 3s and 3s. It's going to be 6 at -2.
6 at -2. In the foams, these are 5-ups. And I'm going to make 2 of them.
It'll be 8 total damage.
Okay. That is going to kill 1. And he's got a chance to explode back. He's got 6 dice, 6s. That unit will take 1 mortal wound at the end of the phase.
And then I'll have 1 pony going into them. So it'll be 4 attacks, 3s and 3s. It'll be 2 at no end.
2 at no end. 3-ups. And going to make both of those.
And then it will be 2 attacks into Krondys. These will be 3s and 4s.
That's with the -1 to wound?
Yep.
Okay.
And then that will be it.
Okay. My next activation here is then going to be with the chariot into that unit of Argboys. Got 3 attacks with the Stormstrike Axe. These are going to be 3s and 3s. And that is 2 hits. And just 1 wound at -1.
This will be a 5-up. Nope. Damage.
Just 1.
6 up. Nope.
And then 2 attacks with the Tempestuous Spear, 3s and 3s. 2 hits. And just 1 wound at -2.
6 up.
2 damage from that one.
6 ups.
And then 6 attacks with the Razor Beaks and Claws, also 3s and 3s. Good hit roll. Got 5 hits. And that is going to be 4 at -2.
4 6 ups.
1 damage each.
1 on this shoe. She's on. Nope. And then 1. Just
And then it's your activation.
so just 1 Ardboy going in. Actually, 2 Ardboys because of the rules. This will be 4 attacks because of the -1. These are going to be on 4s and 4s.
That was with the -1 attacks and -1 wound?
Yep. So this will be 3 at Northern.
Okay, 3-ups. And gonna fail all 3 of those. I've got a 6-up ward from Hammers of Sigmar. And gonna fail all 3 of those, so he'll take 3. Then gonna activate with Krondys. No reason to pile in here. Gonna put all these attacks into the Ardboys, and I am gonna spend his free command point for all-out attack. First up, we've got the Apex Maw attacks. This is 4 attacks, and because of the all-out attack, these are gonna be 3s and 2s.
I'm sorry, you're all going all into the...
All into the Ardboys.
Okay.
Yep. So these are going to be 3s and 2s from the Apex Maw. Excuse me, 2s and 2s. 4 hits. And 4 wounds. Normally Ren 2, but because of the Atavistic Tempest, Ren 3.
Damage.
3 damage each. So a total of 12.
12. 1 shield. Nope. 2 shield. Nope. 3 shield. Saved 1. Shield. Saved again. So that's...
Got 5 damage left to allocate here.
8. 10.
Okay. So the wounded one and 1 more are dead?
Yep.
Next up, have the Drake Lord's Talons. 3 attacks at 2s and 3s. 2 hits. And just 1 wound, again at -3. That's 2 damage.
I'll be dead.
And that's big. I wasted a little bit of damage there from the tail, but needed to clear that unit in order to capture the objective and get my battle tactic and everything else associated with that. So, vital there. Your activation.
This will be a total of 4 10 attacks. These will be 4s and 3s.
And you're -1 to hit here against the Chariot because it made a charge move this turn.
Okay, so these will be 5s and 3s. I had not all out attack. I will all out attack.
Sounds good.
So this will be 4s and 3s. Just 2. No rend.
2 at no rend into the Chariot. It's on a 3 up. And it's going to make 1, fail 1. It's got the 6 up ward. Failed that, so it's going to take 1. Into the Battle Shock phase, you don't give any penalties, right? So my 1 Fulminator is okay.
Yep. I am gonna all out defense I'm gonna Inspiring Presence my Bolt Boys.
Makes sense.
And then I am gonna have to take a Battle Shock on my Ard Boys. They have a Bravery of 5. They're +1 because of the Standard Bearer.
So they're gonna lose D6 +1 here.
Yes. That'll be unit.
That's unit. Okay. So overall, good turn for me. The Fulminators hit a big run roll with their advance, and then hit that big charge. A shorter charge maybe could have got them into the pig with our boys, but that long charge really let them then pile into Gobsprakk, take him off. That's definitely a big presence. That's going to help me getting rid of those unbinds, getting rid of those scary spell casts. But overall, pretty good, and gets me in a position where I hold the objective because it's a proving grounds. I'm going to score 1, hold more, and then I get my battle tactic for a total of 4 points here.
So the check for Waaagh points is at the end of the combat phase. So I did have 2 units in combat, so I will get 2 more, bringing my total to 11.
Okay.
And then we have an important roll.
Yeah, priority here, very, very big.
Come on, 6. Oh.
We both have 1s, and that's all you needed, so you've got the choice.
So I'm going to take this one.
Sure.
You get to pick and prove
So
grounds.
I will activate my home objective, and I will make it proving grounds.
So I'm going to start off by doing my stare at the at Nick's Chariot.
Makes sense. It's got 11 wounds left here.
The way this works is I'm going to roll a dice. On a 1 or a 2, I'm going to take D6 mortal wounds on the Wargog, and on a 3 through 6, I will do D3 to Nick. The first roll does not do anything to me. So here we go. Nick will take D3 for 2.
2 6-ups. Taking 2.
Nick will take D3 for 1.
6-up. Take it.
Nick will take D3 for 3.
6-ups. Gonna make 1 of those. Take 2.
Nick will take D3 for 3.
6s. None of those. 3 more.
Nick will take D3 for 1.
6-up. Nope.
Nick will take D3 for 1.
6-up. Nope.
Nick will take D3 for 3.
6s. And that is the Chariot. It dies. It's out of range to explode on anything.
Stare's really cool, especially when you don't roll any 1s or 2s. So I'm going to take eye for an eye this round.
Which you've already accomplished.
Yep. So it's good to know that I got my battle tactic here. I'm going to use my Warlord command point this round. So I'll be at 3. I'm also going to count up my Waaagh points. I still have a War Chanta for another 2 that will put me to 13, plus my Wargog Prophet that will put me to 14. Then I'll get D6 for my General, for another 4, we'll get me to 18. And then for my heroic action, I will attempt to roll above a 2 to get another 2. I do not. And then my last thing is I'm going to spend a command point to try to rally back my Bolt Boys. I'll get 4 dice and not 6 ups. Just 1.
Pretty good. My things in the start of the hero phase here are going to be, for my heroic action here, I'm going to Finest Hour Krondys. And then I'm also going to attempt to dispel the Everblaze Comet with my Celestant. And I do with the boxcars. 12 there, so pick that one up. We'll drop it again later.
Oh. Hand off. I'm then going to go into my hero phase. I'm +1 to cast this round. I'm going to attempt to cast a Handicorp. I need a 6 on dice.
Okay.
I'm going to get it with an 11.
Okay, I will attempt to unbind this. I don't get any bonuses to unbind, but my Incanter has the option to automatically unbind this. Because I'm not sure how many more spellcasters there's going to be or what might be relevant here, I am going to auto-unbind this with the Knight Incanters once per battle effect.
Sure. The War Chanta is going to give the unit of Yellow Pigs Violent Fury, and the other War Chanta is going to give the Blue Pigs Violent Fury. I'm going to Mighty Destroyers my Blue Pigs. That will do it for my hero phase into movement phase. Seven pigs were locked in. I'm going to try to threaten Nick in multiple areas here. Hopefully I can do some work on Krondys. Not sure that I'll be able to, but that's the hope. And then kind of just hopefully leave Nick with not much left, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to shoot with my 3 Bolt Boys into the remaining Fulminator.
Okay.
So they move, so they're going to have hasty shots. It's going to be a total of 7 shots, hitting on 4s, moving on 3s.
I'm going to go ahead and all-out defense here.
Sure. This will be 2 mortal wounds. And then 2 hits.
Okay. The 2 hits with the 1 rend canceled out by the all-out defense, they're going to be 3-up saves. And I'm going to make one of those.
It'll be 2 more damage.
Okay, so a total of 4 damage with the mortal wounds. That's exactly what you need. And he's out of range to explode on anything.
Into charges. I'm going to be +1 to charge here.
What are you charging with?
I'm going to charge with my Yellow Pigs first. They're going to get in on an 8.
Definitely. Successful charge for the Waaagh.
So this will be 3. On 3 ups, I'll do a mortal wound. 2 mortal wounds.
Okay, 2 6-ups from the Hammers of Sigmar. I'll take both of those.
I'm going to try to charge with my Blue Pigs. I'm going to re-roll that with my Triumph. A 9 should get in somewhere.
That'll get him in somewhere.
I'll have 2 going in to
Into the Liberators?
Into the Liberators. 3 ups. Mortals. Just 1.
Okay. 6-up. They'll take it.
So because I completed 2 charges, I will get 2 more, so I'll be at 21. I believe that does give me +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
Sure. Seems good.
I'm going to start off by putting all my...
End of the charge phase. I've got my monstrous action here. So Krondys is going to roar at the unit that just charged him. and we'll succeed on a 3.
Sounds good. I'm going to attack him first. I'm going to have a total of 7 attacks.
I'm going to all-out defense here.
Sure. These are going to be on 2s and 3s.
And you're at -1 attacks, -1 wound, +1 hit, +1 wound.
So it's going to be a total of 4 at -2.
The -2 are canceled out by the all-out defense at finest hour, so these are going to be 4 3s. And I'm going to make all those.
And then I'm going to have a total of 9 attacks.
That's with the -1 attack?
Yeah. And these will be on 2s and 3s.
They're 4 base?
Yeah. Wow. Oof. That will be 4.
4 at no end on these, right?
Yep.
Okay, so these are 2s. And I'm going to pass all those as well. Alright, I'm going to activate this unit of Liberators here. Try to get some chip damage down if nothing else. Pile them in a little bit.
I'm going to all-out defense here.
Okay, sounds good. The Liberator's not exactly known for their punch, but hopefully they'll get some through here. I've got 8 attacks, 9 attacks with the Heaven's Wrought weapons. The leader in this unit has a one-handed weapon, and so these are going to be 3s and 4s. Wound. That is going to be 3 at -1.
This will be 3 4-ups with the all defense. I need 1.
-1 on those, yeah. And then the grand weapon, 3s and 3s, no hits.
This will be 2 attacks, 2s and 3s.
Okay.
1 at -2.
1 at -2. This is a 3-up. Good.
And then 4 attack or 3
3
attacks.
attacks.
1 and just 1 and arm.
1 at no red. 2. He's good. Krondys holding strong here. Gonna swing in with Krondys then and put all of his attacks into the unit that charged him, the Violent Fury unit of pigs. So I'm finest hour here. I'll get +1 to wound, and at my current wounds, I'm not yet tabled, so these will be at full profile. We'll have the Apex Maw. These are going to be 3s and 2s. That is going to be 2 at -2.
Oh, this will be 2 6-ups. Need 1 damage.
3 damage. Then the Drake Lord's Talons are going to be 3s and 2s as well. 3 hits. And 3 wounds at -2.
3 6-ups. Pass 1.
2 damage each.
Kill 1 and 2 will carry over.
And then the Calamitous Tail is going to be at 4 attacks, 3s and 2s. And that is going to be 3 at -2.
3 6-ups. Didn't make any damage.
2 damage each. And your go.
So I'm going to pile. I'm going to put 1 main attack into the Canter, the other 2 into all the other attacks are going into the lives.
Sure.
So it will be 3 attacks. These will be 2s and 2s. 3 at -2.
3 6-ups. And gonna make 2 of those casually. 3 damage on the main attack,
Just
or 2? 2 6-ups then from the Hammers of Sigmar, and he's gonna take 2 and survive that.
Then I'm going to have a total of 7 attacks going into the Liberators. So this will be a total of 5 at -2.
5 at -2 are going to be 5-ups for the Liberators. And they are going to fail all those.
Those will be 3 damage apiece.
3 damage apiece, so just a bucket of damage. 15 6-ups. And that unit is dead. They are going to explode and try to put their mortal wounds into that unit of pigs. So that's going to be a total of 10 dice. Looking for 6s. And going to do 1 mortal wound into that unit of pigs. At the end of the phase, technically. Just one activation left then. That's going to be the Knight Incanter. He's going to pile in and put all of his attacks into those pigs. He's got 3 attacks at 3s and 3s. No hits.
So I'm going to gain another 3 Waaagh points from having 3 units in combat, which will bring me to 24. I do owe a battle shock. So these have a 6 bravery. I lost 2 on a 5 or a 6. He'll run. He'll run.
No battle shock to take on my side. The things that got hurt stayed dead. On the turn go.
Okay. I'm losing a lot of material, but so is Nick. So, Nick didn't start with much. He's got a lot of points left on the table, but not a lot of bodies. So hopefully I can win on objectives here, but it's not looking super great.
I'm definitely going to fall behind on objectives very quickly. This battle plan kind of let me hang in on objectives here pretty good, but unless I'm able to take some things off, that's going to wear thin real quick.
So I did not hold any objectives that turn, and I will get 1 point, or 2 points.
2 points for battle tactic. Nice to be able to pick the battle tactic after the Wargog kills something to just say it's guaranteed. And we'll go into the bottom of round 2, Stormcast. For my battle tactic here, I'm going to take Eye for an Eye. And for my heroic action, I'm going to attempt to get a command point with Krondys. And I'll succeed at that.
I'm going to try to heal my Orruk Prophet. No.
In the spellcasting here, then, you've got 2 unbinds on the field, 3 unbinds on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to start with Krondys. He's going to attempt to cast the Everblaze Comet. And I got a 5 on dice. He's still +4, but he's outside of the range to be -1 to unbind. So this is a 9 on dice, and you got a straight unbind roll. But +1 from Waaagh, right?
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to unbind with my Orruk Prophet. No. 9 will not do it.
Okay. So the Everblaze is going to come down. So the Everblaze, we're going to run it through. It's going to get everything kind of on this side of the board. We'll start over on this side and work our way. So we've got the War Chanter here on the end. Is going to take D6 for 6.
I think that will just go.
Okay, hot dice. The Argoys are going to take D3 for 2.
Shields. Go right through.
And then the Wargog going to take D3 for 2.
4. Yeah, I see it. He'll be on 2.
Okay, your General is going to take D6 for 5. Big. And then the other War Chanter is going to take D3 for 2. For my next cast, the Incanter is going to attempt to cast the Ravanax Gnashing Jaws. He's at +1, so that's on a 7, and you are -1 to unbind him.
So I'll need a 8 on dice, I believe.
Yeah. 8 would put you to 9 down to here.
Nope, that's good.
Okay, Ravanax is going to go off then. Krondys is then going to attempt his War Scroll spell, Atavistic Tempest. Goes off on a 9. He's at +4, so it's going to be a 13.
Pretty good there.
And that's going to go on the unit of pigs he's currently engaged with, give them -1 to save.
Sure.
The Celestant is then going to attempt to cast Starfall. And going to get that on a 7, and you are -1 to unbind that.
No.
Okay. And so that's going to go over here and try to hit this unit of pigs to make them unable to pile in, and they are unable to pile in. At the end of the hero phase, then, the Ravanax is going to move. It moves 3d6, and I can re-roll this because I set it up this turn. And so it is going to go 15 inches. It is going to go 13 inches. I am bad at math. And that is going to target the Wargog Prophet. His movement characteristic is 5?
Yep.
Okay, so that is going to be a total of 8 mortal wounds for the Wargog.
So I'm going to roll 8 dice, 8 4s. I'm going to make all but 2. I'll take 2 more ones.
Okay, so he survives. we'll get into movement. Movement here, very minimal, very straightforward for me. I brought my Celestant over in a position to go after the pigs, and I retreated my Incanter out of combat. And then Krondys is locked into combat with the pigs. Gonna try to work on the Bolt Boys with some magic, or with some spellcasting. But then it's really the magic, the Ravanax and the Everblaze that are gonna have to do work for me to project out of the castle that I've got. And my monsters are just gonna clean up behind it. Into shooting here then, the Lord-Celestant is going to put all of the attacks into the Bolt Boys. And he is going to spend for all out attack here. So these are going to be 2s and 2s. 3 hits. And 3 wounds at -3. 2 damage each. Cleans that unit. Krondys is then going to shoot at the unit he's engaged with. Dragon Breath. With a 1, it's just 1 mortal wound into it. Only 1 charge to make here then. It's going to be the Celestant. And he's in with a 4. Alright, for monstrous actions then, my Celestant is going to attempt to roar the unit he's engaged with, and succeeds on a 3. And then Krondys is going to attempt to stomp those pigs, and fails it on a 1. For activations then, first I'm going to go up with Krondys. He's going to pile in his 3 inches. And then put all of his attacks into that unit of pigs. And he's going to use his free command point this turn for all-out attack here.
And out. All-out defense.
Okay. So, 4 attacks, the Apex Maw. With the all-out attack, these are going to be 2s and 2s. Got 4 hits. And 3 wounds with the Atavistic Tempest. These are going to be at -3.
So these will be 6-ups. Didn't make any.
3 damage each. The Drake Lord's Talons are 2s and 3s. All hits. And all wound also at -3.
How many were there?
3.
I used to
2 damage each there. And then it's your activation.
I'll go with pigs. I'm going to get 2 in. So this will be a total of 6 attacks.
I'm going to all-out defense here.
Sure. These will be 2s and 3s. It's going to be a total of 5 at -2.
5 at -2. With the all-out defense, these are going to be 4s. And 6s here will kick a mortal wound back. So that's 1 mortal wound back and 2 get through for a total of 4 damage.
Yep.
Okay, I've got the 6-up wards. I made 1 of those, so he takes 3 and kicks 1 back.
And then I'll have 1 pony attack. This will be 2s and 3s. It will be a total of 3.
3 at no end are 2-ups. Gonna make all those no 6s. Alright, so the Celestant will then pile in. He's gonna move here. And then he's going to, with his Cavernous Jaws, he can pick up to 3 models. He's gonna pick the 3 pigs. And he's going to roll a dice, and since they're a 5 wound model, on a 6, that model's going to be eaten. So the wounded one on a 6, he's fine. The one in the middle is eaten, and the one on the other end is also eaten. Wow.
Seems good.
Seems good. Then going to make his attacks. He's got 3 attacks with the Celestine Hammer. These are 3s and 2s. 2 hits. 2 wounds at -2.
This will be 6-ups. Damn.
Okay. Obviously, an awesome turn for me. Both of my monsters did a lot of work there. You know, I had the defensive buff to shut off the pile-in with the pigs being so killy. Being able to shut off some of the damage from them was really impactful. And then Krondys is just doing a lot of work with Atavistic Tempest to buff that up. Obviously, the spells are doing a tremendous amount of work, peeling a War Chanter entirely.
When does that move again?
End of every hero phase.
Okay.
Unless it's dispelled. So, feel real good about that one. I hold the 2 objectives on the field that are active. So hold 1, hold 2, hold more. I got my battle tactic, total of 5 points here. And then we've got a priority roll going into round 3. And I've got a 4-year 4, so you will have a choice again.
For my turn, I'm going to do some beginning hero phase stuff, kind of out of order, and then we'll see how this goes. I'm going to first attempt to heal my Orruk Waaagh Prophet. I need to roll an 8 or less. I rolled a 9, so he's not going to heal. I'm going to pick Desecrate Their Lands and take the large base thing right there. And then I am going to stare at the Celestant. This stare shouldn't be as effective as I am currently sitting on 4 wounds. I really needed a heal there. So we'll see how it goes. 3 up. D3. For 2.
6s. Takes 1.
For D3. For 2.
6s. Takes 2.
D6 back for 3. You need to save at least one of these or he will die. He will die.
Okay.
Not exactly what I wanted. And with
The
that,
sort of gamble you had to take.
with that, we're going to call a game. I needed to kill the Celestant Prime there to have any, or Lord-Celestant to have any kind of chance to get this game back. But with me staring those down and just not having any ability to shift them at this point, I think it's wise to call it.
This battle plan, I feel like, really favored the army I was sitting on. I could castle up, I could wage war over a very small section of the battlefield, which is what I kind of needed to do because I didn't have a lot of presence. Krondys did a ton of work.
Yeah, Krondys was really good. I had a couple, like, maybe unfavorable luck things kind of not go my way with the big charge and the big run from... But that stuff's going to happen in any game. Yeah, I mean, the directed mortal wounds really did a lot of work. All your special abilities really did a lot of work. I wasn't able to stop any magic, really.
Sure. Which is difficult to do on effectively +5.
Yeah. But no, it was really tanky, and I just... You know, maybe a couple things go my way, I can compete a little longer, but when Krondys tanked all the attacks from 3 buffed up, and he's going to do that at -1 to wound and -1 to attack him, but
I did have better than average luck on those saves, but yeah.
And at this point, I mean, there's just not enough material for me to... If it was Krondys, the Liberators, and your Incanter...
We'd actually be almost even then. Well, I'd still
Krondys
be well
is
ahead
still,
because Krondys is so expensive, but it would feel very similar with 1 unit of battle line, 1 support hero, and then 1 monster centerpiece.
But yeah, at this point, it's just not. It's not going to happen.
Ravanax only went off once for me, but bombing 8 mortal wounds into something is just intense. And then I felt like I fluffed the rolls a little bit on the Comet the first time. The second time, though, it just went off. You know,
yeah, you more than
6 mortal wounds, 5 mortal
misses.
wounds. Yeah, did a ton. Just incredible rolls on that. I like kind of the core of this list. It's just so limited on what you can bring. It's only got 1 real hammer in the Fulminators, and they did great this game. You know, they more than made up for their points. But only having 1 hammer leaves you kind of hanging a little bit. You're reliant on the magic to do work. So against armies with maybe better unbinding, this would start to fall apart a little bit. Krondys, though, Master of Celestial Menagerie, when the book came out, was all of your monsters, all of your Stormcast monsters are -1 to wound. So that applied to every dragon in the army. You could run it on I'm struggling with the name, but the small dragon hero, and give it to all of your little dragons. -1 to wound is among the best debuffs in the game.
Yeah.
So they pulled that back. They made it the behemoths only. So the only way you can run it is if you're running something similar to this. 2 great big, 1,000 points invested. Or you can run it on 1, but it starts to feel a little lackluster then. But tremendous amount of work that did here. Being able to tank up buffed Gorgrunt is no small task.
You know, 2 round just isn't what it used to be.
Sure. Well, and On the turn he came in, he was finest houred. He was able
Yeah.
to put up all-out defense. So, two rend isn't what it used to be. But,
I didn't see really any option but to go into Krondys at that point. I knew that I probably wouldn't take him off, but I didn't really know what the next game action would be. I didn't feel like I could really hold off any longer.
Sure.
I could have maybe played Super Cowardice and backed up and retreated with the unit of Gorgruntas and tried to live another day, but I don't know if that's really getting me anywhere.
My charge rolls went really well in that first turn. The chariot went into your unit of Ardboys and, coupled with Battle Shock, cleaned them, which is, I think, punching above its weight for that chariot.
Yeah.
I was really just trying to bog them into combat, and instead got to clean them. Krondys got into charge. The Fulminators obviously had that really big charge to get where they needed to go. The only one I failed there was the Celestant. So charge rolls went really well early on, and kind of helped me set the pace then.
Yeah. Losing Gobsprakk as early as I did without him really getting any value out of like what he does was not great.
Sure.
I don't know if I could have. I was in this mode of where I kind of wanted to keep the Bolt Boys in cover, but maybe they should have just been sitting right behind the pigs to get a better Unleash Hell off. Yeah.
I was hoping to have better effect against them. They were really my main focus early on to free up my charges. I was hoping to do better against them in turn one, but they held on strong.
Yeah, it's tough. With Big Waaagh, I don't know if this is just... I would like to play it again. One thing I've noticed, I really want low drops. Like,
yeah,
being just in general in the game right now. I know that some people don't think low drops are as big a deal, but I still just think dictating who has to take first turn, and especially in this where I can't really have an effective like get in and charge, but I need to take some objectives and stuff like that. I don't know. It
is absolutely vital for a lot of armies to go second, avoid the double, have the potential of their own double, but avoid getting doubled. And then when you have a battle plan like this that says, all right, if you go second, you also get to pick which objective you're fighting over. You also get to pick the proving ground.
Yep.
Suddenly, the weight of that low drops to dictate priority in turn one becomes just a snowball that gets out of control. If I tried to set up the way I did and you had turn priority, well, then you pick your objective over on the other side of the board. I can't really touch it, and then suddenly this is kind of an ugly game for me, and I'm trying to claw my way into your territory.
Sure. But you built it as a 2-drop knowing full well that you need...
Right. And I deployed as I did, knowing that I had priority. Right. That's one of the things that I hope they maybe take a look at in one of the upcoming battle packs or in one of the upcoming General's Handbooks. Right now, that rule for turn priority in turn one it's one thing in the General's Handbook, random in the core rules. The General's Handbook is what says drops determine it, and that gives them a lot of flexibility in how they handle it in future General's Handbooks. I would love to see how deployments change if at the time of deployment you don't know that.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know what you're going to do.
No, it's a cool list. I'm back to the drawing board on Big Waaagh. Yeah, so I've been trying to build Big Waaagh without kind of the Maw Crusher crutch. I don't know. I mean, this game, I'd like to play it again. I don't know if I play it again with some knowledge, maybe I could do a little bit better.
The Wargog did a lot of work again. Lifted the chariot pretty readily. Keeping him out of range is still something I struggle with. Even when I measure it, I still screw it up.
Yeah, 12 is a lot. And if it's just 12, it's hard to stay outside of 12 when you have to kill things, you know what I mean? So,
and he's so durable. You can't, you can try to shoot him off, but with the 4-up ward from the Glowing Tattoos, he's just so durable, so difficult to plink off with something.
Honestly, all your units absolutely achieved today. Like, Fulminators, awesome job. Krondys, just outstanding.
Yeah.
Celestant, great. Chariot, maxed out potential.
Right.
Like,
right.
You got every single point you spent, and I did not get anything out of Gobsprakk. My bolt boys did very minimal. My pigs they didn't fluff, but they just didn't do enough. Really, the only thing I had going for me was more wounds and you not having a lot of bodies. But other than that, nothing really showed up for me as far as... And maybe that's just because your army's so elite, I'm just not going to do much.
And I'm also well positioned to deal with what you can do well. An MSU of pigs against -1 attacks and -1 to wound, and +2 to save on a 3-up base. That's the one situation where that unit of pigs doesn't just blow something up, right?
Yeah.
So
would you have gone into Krondys with them?
Yes. I find a tower there expecting you to go in. You should have gotten more output than you did. I should have failed probably 2 to 3 of those saves on average. So maybe you do 4 to 6 damage instead of 0.
It would have even been nice for you to choke some saves on the Incanter, so
yeah.
I could have got him off. And
well, he clutched them. He clutched 2 6-ups.
Yeah.
If he fails one of those 6-ups, if
he just doesn't hit a 6-up,
if he doesn't hit
dies.
a 6-up, then he dies. Yeah, because then I'd have to make 2 of the 6-up wards. So
and that would just be nice to end the diversification you had on the magic ability.
It would have turned off Ravanax in that last turn. He just retreated after that. But turning off Ravanax on the last turn, that was 8 mortal wounds that went to your Wargog. That's consequential. That matters. It also just kind of changes the shape of the game for you a little bit. He did his job. He's got armor for a reason.
So I'm trying to learn this Big Waaagh. Would you have, because of the threat of your bomb, would you have deployed spread out like I did?
I think you overreacted to it. I think that you got to see my deployment. You got to see where everything I had was. I think it probably would have behooved you to have something like, deploy almost your entire army in this swath of the board. From there to there. So make it so that I can't hit all of your vital pieces. But the reality is that I'm probably going to hit half of them.
Yeah. The way I was trying to set up was basically 3 bases of power.
Right.
I did, 1 chunk here, 1 chunk on the right hand side, 1 chunk, and I thought that would be if you did have to fight, and I could kind of control 1 half of the board.
Right.
Well, really, honestly, as much as everything did well, the chariot absolutely killed my strategy. So swearing, because those Ard boys were supposed to do a lot more work.
And there's no reasonable way that chariot should lift that unit of 10 Ard boys. Now, it killed 7.
And I had a choice to make
on your battle shock. But it spiked the charge with an 11. So it started off doing 5 mortal wounds. And then it did very well on its attacks with a lot of very good rend, but generally it's never going to push through that much damage on a unit of Ard boys. And it got there, and suddenly it was like an unmanageable situation for you because, that unit of 10 Ard boys, you're depending on the recursion that you get with them, the rallying on them. I think having 2 bases, making sure that I can't hit all of your vital support heroes, really spreading the vital support heroes out on the 2 wings of those bases, I think that puts you in a much better position because then ultimately when I go into 1 half of your army, the entire other half can crack. Instead, I went into a third cracked in, and a third was stranded.
Yeah. Pigs made up some distance in turn 2, but and I don't necessarily this general's on the table to pick fights and get in later. Sure. He's not
he's not a bone crusher. He's not going to bully, right?
No, he wants to pick his spots, and there wasn't a lot of spots to pick until I was hoping, obviously, to get rid of maybe 1 more chunk and then be able to start picking spots and with Fasten kind of make him be able to move around the table a little more. But by then I was already so far down in material that I just don't think with 4 Ard boys and a War Chanta, even if the Wargog lives, that I'm doing much. So
if you're in a situation where Krondys with that big pig charge maybe takes 6 more damage and is sitting on something like 7 health, then this turn he comes in and he maybe finishes off Krondys. Sure. And that's a different world, right?
Yeah.
But both of my heroes, both of my monsters really are so healthy at this point that he's not going to be able to bully one of them off. He's going to be on the receiving end of that, especially having taken 5 more wounds from the comet. He's in the place to be bullied instead of the other way around. So creates an awkward situation. He's great for clearing screens, clearing chaff, bullying mid-range pieces, and he's not great at dealing with something like Krondys or the Lord-Celestant.
I don't know. The Everblaze Comet is just so scary because it is such a slot machine. Like,
sure.
It really can do work.
It's got that warp lightning vortex effect, right? Where it just sometimes it's going to pop at 6 and
or it's even like a little mini purple sun too.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was great for me here. I was happy to dispel it in your turn so that I could recast it in mine.
What do you think about the Purple Sun update?
I really like the Purple Sun update. I think the Purple Sun update was we talked about this a little bit before and in our Discord. I don't think it was quite as far as it maybe needs to be, but I really appreciate the light touch on changes. I hope Games Workshop continues the pattern of making small changes more often because they can dial in a lot better rather than making a large change and then waiting a long time. If they make a small change, see if it's enough, maybe make another change. I feel like the rules change that they made, the shift to the mortal wounds for god pieces, obviously very consequential in certain situations, but I think the bigger change in more matchups is the reduction of the range on the bubble that for the auto slay. I think that makes it a lot easier to screen. I can remember a handful of situations where that would have been really impactful on something that the Purple Sun took off. I think it was a nice light touch, and I think it addresses the worst problems of the Purple Sun. I think the points probably need a little bit of an additional bump, but I'm starting to look at it in a place where it's not bad for the game anymore.
Yeah, I think that you actually have to think about taking it in a lot of lists now, where before it was just an auto take. Night Haunt is not affected. It's still great for Night Haunt.
For sure.
But like in a lot of other armies, 90 points is a battle line unit. It's better than a battle line unit in most cases. Like you said, it could probably use a little bit point bomb, but it's a soft touch and it's nice, so it's not automatic. But at 120, 150, then it's still fine, good.
Mm-hmm.
But you really have to make concessions to get into your army, and it's not going to be a game tilter like it has been.
Krondys is a 600-point wizard, and a big reason to bring him, one of the biggest reasons to bring him, is his War Scroll spell. One of the options of which, the reason you run it, is for -1 to save rolls on 1 unit on a casting value of 9.
Yeah.
Compare that to the Purple Sun, where before it was 70 points, area of effect bubble, massive bubble of -6 or -1 to saves. You start to see how how these things don't necessarily line up in terms of choice, right?
No,
I think it was a nice change. I think an additional point bump puts it in a place where it can live quite happily in the competitive meta.
And I'm super happy with the rest of the FAQ. I had been in limbo with my Beast of Chaos list, which really counts on a lot of Enlightened on Disc. Now they're actually Beast of Chaos again, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's about 5 people that were excited about the rest of this FAQ, but that was almost a bigger point for Justin.
Yeah, so I was extremely relieved to hear that Beast of Chaos didn't take it on the chin there, so that was nice. Anyway,
good game as always,
good game.
Justin.
If you guys enjoy our content, throw us a subscribe, throw us a like, give us a comment, join our Discord. We love, we have a pretty thriving community going there.
Continually growing.
A lot of tournament talk, a lot of pickup games going, so please, join in on the conversation. We'd love to have you.
Night, everybody.